after.
Midnight.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
Okay.
Ping pong's not a sport.
So, ping pong is what?
Not a sport.
Why is ping pong not a sport?
Dude, come on, man. It's like, it's dumb.
I'm
dude.
asking
It's
for
just,
a friend.
It's just a little tiny plastic ball that
It
gets
is.
smacked back and forth, man. It's
Yes.
just like I don't think pool is a sport. Like I don't think playing pool is a sport.
But playing in a pool, synchronized with other people, could be a sport.
I guess. What are they playing? Marco Polo?
No, they're playing footsie with
Synchronized
each other.
swimmer?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you're into, dude.
You know, I the Olympics have become farcical for a
Little bit.
long time now.
Little bit.
I mean, I remember when I was...
I remember the very first Olympic game. All right? That's back when men were men. You know?
Yeah.
Throwing stone balls
Yep.
and spears and...
Naked wrestling.
That's what I'm here for.
That's-
I mean, why did we ever get rid of that?
You know, I
People
think...
fighting tigers and shit?
I think the cup was a great invention. The rest of it was too much, though.
The cup.
The cup.
You just, like the prize?
No.
What the
Like,
fuck is the cup?
Like, that protects your genitalia.
Oh.
Yeah. Like a...
Oh, okay.
Like a
yeah, well,
sportsman
I
league
didn't know if we were talking about the
cup.
Stanley Cup or...
No. Although, if you're big enough... Some dual purpose.
Maybe. Yeah, you know, somehow ping pong, man. Ping pong's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
The national sport of Forrest Gump land.
Yeah. That's a real place.
Yeah.
It's
It's where the Bubba Gump people go on vacation.
You know, ping pong, yes, it takes skill to be good at, all right? But to call it
Yeah.
table tennis is a little insulting. It's fucking ping pong.
Not to us. It's insulting to the people who play actual tennis.
Right.
And ping pong.
I like how you say us because you're a ponger. You're a pinger.
I mean, I can ping a little bit.
It's not insulting to my people.
Look,
okay?
the pongers are different.
Now the
but
actual
the pingers,
tennis players.
I mean, the actual tennis players have legitimate skill, and you look at them and they look like athletes instead of just cave dwellers who've come to the surface in order to serve a small plastic ball.
You
back
think
and
bowling's
forth.
a sport?
No. I hate bowling.
Bowling is as much of a sport to me as ping pong is.
I would agree with
But
you.
I would rather play ping pong than bowl.
Also agree. But ping pong is fun in a way that you don't have to be reasonably talented at ping pong.
Right.
You can just play.
Right.
That it's as simple as like badminton or something like that. Like I don't know anybody that didn't grow up in the backyard playing badminton.
Fuck up some badminton.
Me
bro.
too. It's so fun.
Plus, it's called a shuttlecock.
I know. It's
Come
great.
on.
You know
That's cool.
So let me tell a small story about
Yeah.
that real quick.
Shuttlecocks?
Yes.
All right.
So shuttlecock is effectively just like a
Spaceship shaped like a dick.
yeah. it's like a base with feathers coming off of it. And that badminton is a derivative of what is like originally sort of like Chinese soccer. So I learned about it because my dad did 7-star praying mantis kung fu in San Francisco when he lived there in the 1970s.
Such an interesting man.
Such an interesting man. At some point, we'll do a whole thing on just my dad.
Yeah.
Both of our dads, really, because you have a very interesting papa as well.
Listen, I have an interesting dad, but
You can't talk about a lot. So he was taking kung fu, and one of the ways that they practiced to warm up their legs and become agile before actually sparring and doing forms and things like that is they would play shuttlecock, which is the rules are sort of like ultimate frisbee, but you use the shuttlecock from like how you would think of like a badminton set with your feet, and you pass back and forth between the people on your team and you try and score a goal just like soccer or
But you
ultimate
use
frisbee or something like that.
shuttlecock?
But you use a shuttlecock and you use your feet and you
so
kick
it's
it.
like extreme.
It's like extreme
hacky
hacky
sack?
sack. So, interestingly enough, my dad used to always claim that he invented the hacky sack because he used to take shuttlecocks to the airport with him. And he was like flying business class because he was like basically going to perform for different like record executives at different places, and he would always bring the shuttlecock to the airport with him. And he said that he went from San Francisco to New York one time, and he said he swears like a week later the hacky sack like hit the market. And he was like, I don't know if anyone saw, but we were playing shuttlecock in American airports like throughout the entire early 70s and late 60s. Who knows? He may or may not have influenced some of the hacky sack craze, which I mean I don't know, but yeah, that. So when we went to China to adopt my little sister, we bought a ton of them, and when we came back, kept playing, and even as recently as last weekend, Pong and I went in the backyard and kicked it around for a while.
The hacky sack or the shuttlecock?
The shuttlecock. We got real ones. They're really interesting. They have a foam base, and it kind of comes up into like a little basin where you set the feathers into, and you friction fit the feathers in there. There's like 5 or 6 that sort of like go outward in a circle, and then there's weights that they take from like little milk cartons.
So it's not the same as the thing that you play badminton.
No,
because that's also called a shuttlecock, right?
Correct.
Or is that called a birdie?
No, well, it's a shuttlecock, but. When you go and look up shuttlecock on Amazon, there's literally 2 different types. There's the badminton one and the Chinese one, and they're both used at a professional level. That's why they call them a shuttlecock, is because it's, I guess, the same way you'd call a hockey puck a hockey puck. It's not just like a
biscuit,
a disc, or like some kind of slang for it. But yeah, that's, I don't know. I just think it's interesting because not many Americans know about it. But if you go to China, people are playing it everywhere.
Really?
To the point where people would randomly come up and like enter games that like me and Dad were playing with each other. Like we would just be like going down a road, and my mom and little sister would be, like looking at a park or something, because there's a ton of public parks in China. They're everywhere. So me and Dad would just kick it around for a while, and eventually there'd be like 4, 5, 6 people would come up, and we'd all be in a circle kicking it back and forth to each other.
How many times have you been to China?
Just once, but we were there for a little over a month.
That's crazy.
It was a long time. It was a very long time. It's interesting.
How old were you?
13.
13? How was that? What kind of experience was that?
It's crazy how quickly you get used to it. That was my experience. There's enough American commodities there. Yeah, I always say this to people, and I don't know if anyone really believes me, but it's so true, is that Chinese society, even though they are definitely a communist society politically, they operate much more like capitalists than we do almost. If you go to any vendor in China, they'll take American currency over Chinese currency in a heartbeat because they can take it to an exchange and make like double or triple their profit, even though you're spending less as an American. But they have KFCs, McDonald's, Louis Vuitton. These people will live in skyscraper buildings at 600 square foot apartments with like barely any amenities, but they'll go and work these salary jobs that are fairly high paying and will break your back because they're 60 to 70 to 80 hour work weeks there. But they come home to these horrible little apartments, and the only reason they do it is so that they can go spend more money on Gucci and Balmain or whatever the new fashion trend is.
Balenciaga.
Yeah, I mean, but that's, you go into a nice hotel in China, the first floor is only shopping. You'll have a Burberry, a Louis Vuitton, a Gucci, a Cartier, all in the lobby of your hotel, because that's how important consumerism is to those people. So it's really interesting. You get super used to you feel kind of in more of an American element than you initially think. But then the other thing too is they're all very nice people. And because of that, especially as an American, you're greeted really friendly everywhere. Which I think is very different from some other foreign countries. I got to the point where like I was watching the television in Chinese and like didn't know how to pick out words or anything like that, but I could like pick up on context of things just because I had watched everyone around me for almost a month at that point. I'm sitting in a hotel, they're like Chinese news or whatever, and you can kind of, you're around enough people in the culture, you start to sort of pick up on,
right. Yeah, context clues.
Right. So it's interesting. I thought that it was going to be really alienating, and when I got there, I realized that there was no alienation. It was just okay, different looking place, different lettering, but people are people. Just kind of, everyone wants to get by. No one wants to be held up in traffic or assaulted on the street. Everyone's trying to do the best they can pretty much everywhere, and it's kind of crazy when you sit here as an American and look at the news and hear about things from foreign countries. I feel like a lot of the time you don't get the perspective of like, oh, well, these are just people the same exact way that we are. I tried to talk about that a lot in a geography class I was teaching to middle schoolers, because they were all very conservative, and you could tell that their parents had been
Right.
very much opposed to the war in Afghanistan, and when President Biden pulled everyone out, and there were all kinds of lives lost on both sides due to that extraction. I tried to really impose on my students, like, hey, look, you know, you're probably right. Like, there are a lot of things that shouldn't have happened, but the worst thing, the biggest tragedy, is that people lost their lives on both sides of it. Because I really do feel like the news, especially, and really just any media, tries so hard to push an agenda that it's really difficult to see the humanity and the other side of who you're talking about. So, yeah, I mean, that was kind of one of my takeaways from going to China. It's just like humanity is so similar until you put a microscope on it. Or actually, you know, really you zoom out to a macro level and you start assuming about a lot of people.
Right.
The generalizing is really what does it.
Well, I mean, I've always, you know, I feel like most people kind of understand it now. It's kind of common knowledge that, like, yeah, I mean, our news channels here are no different than anywhere else, man. They are definitely pushing a narrative, and it's that we're always the good guy, and anybody we have a problem with is the bad guy. But over there, it's the same thing, dude.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Everybody on their own land is the good guy. You know what I mean? Like, when we decide to go to war with somebody, we call them the enemy. They call us the enemy.
Right.
Realistically, we're just
two,
you know, we're just people, man. We're just people out here for no fucking reason except for orders.
Yeah. See, that's the interesting caveat to sort of all that stuff, is it's really moral situationism. Because it's not ever a conversation about what is the root morality causing these things. It's always the situational morality. It's always, because of this circumstance, thusly we're going to enforce this. Not just, this is what it should be on a base level. But it's hard to get people to change their thinking on stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it just comes with life experience.
Yeah, well, I mean, Genghis Khan probably had a lot of life experience, but I think he's probably, you know, a terrible person to almost any culture.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody holds him to high regard.
No, just Mike Tyson, apparently.
Really?
Well, not that he, like, admires Genghis Khan, but apparently he's, like, fascinated by him.
Enamored by him? Well, I mean, he is a fascinating... There's a difference between fascination and,
and
you know...
agreeing or citing. Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm super into, like, true crime and stuff. And like, I like listening to, like, serial killer stuff. But by no means am I like, yeah...
Did you see?
I wish that wasn't there to consume. I wish there wasn't serial killers. But there is, and they're extremely interesting.
Did you see the other day that a medical journal published that there was a new study that if you like true crime, it could be a problematic sign?
Yeah, it's a red flag, is what they're saying.
But here's what I don't like about that.
Well, okay, but what they said was, if that's what you choose to do to relax. So, like, if you come
find
to the
it
house,
comforting.
I don't watch that type of shit at the house. It's just like if I'm at work.
Yeah, same.
I'll throw a podcast on that has to do with
interesting.
It's interesting.
You got to stay alert on your breaks because you'll fall asleep otherwise.
Well, I listen to it while I'm working. So.
Yeah, I wish I could.
But yeah, I don't come home and go, you know what I want to watch right now? There's certain shows that are good, like Mindhunter. Mindhunter's a great show. Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Really good. True Detective.
Yeah.
Good show.
True Detective is great.
I really like that they kind of do like the American Horror Story thing where like each season, or I think it's every 2 seasons.
Yeah, a little spin.
Yeah, they'll change up the characters and shit. Because you had Matthew McConaughey, Woody Harrelson.
So good. That was that was peak season.
Yeah, for sure.
But, man. What a great show. What a great show. Me and Noah marathoned that when it first came out. It was a good time. But yeah, no, it's interesting because, like, yeah, I think you have to quantify what relaxation means in that particular context. Because it seems like what they're trying to paint is this blanket statement of you listen to morbid fact as a way in which to relax yourself. That's an issue. Well, yes, it is. You could say that any sort of... You could say that anything that is sadistic that way, used as a way in which to relax, yeah, that's an issue. But the definition of relax, I think, is... Or even the use of the word relax there is maybe a misnomer because depends on the context in which you're relaxing. If the relaxing that they're talking about is it's something you're watching while you're in a reclined state, yeah, anything you watch relaxed in a reclined state, it could fall into this category. The news could very easily fall into that category. Scrolling through TikTok or Reddit and finding something on 50/50.
The death scroll, bro. I do not follow 50/50.
Oh, me either.
There's no
absolutely not.
I have accidentally seen too much shit.
Oh,
and I don't have any fucking self-control.
I know.
And so if I follow it and I see that stupid little blurred image, I'm gonna click on it.
I know, me too.
I'm gonna click on it
every time
because I'm a gambling man.
Yep, me
and
too.
It's never good.
Some of the darkest things I've ever seen or heard of have been from that subreddit. Now, I've never ventured over to 4chan. I don't plan.
I fucking refuse. But I have listened to a lot of 4chan stories.
Me too.
From
They're
like YouTube.
Very fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of them are true.
Yeah, some of them.
Some of them,
granted,
yeah.
you never know with some of that stuff. But like the one where the dude like killed his girlfriend. Do you know about that one?
I don't. Please.
So
elaborate.
There was this guy.
Now you're all psychopaths for enjoying our true crime narration.
Yeah, it's
while
fucked,
you're
man.
Seated somewhere.
I accidentally saw the pictures of this on fucking Reddit. Of course. And so this dude was an avid user of 4chan, and 4chan's literally nothing but a bunch of trolls, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, they all it's just a very toxic environment.
Well, it was started for, like, weeb culture, to, like, have, like, a place to secretly talk about their, like, weird
anime
weeb fetishization. Yeah.
So, this guy, who was an avid user of 4chan, the paranoia is real. I see over here looking at the... Please still be recording.
I want to make sure.
So he killed... I guess they got in a fight, and he strangled his girlfriend and killed her.
Well...
He took pictures of her. She was naked on the bed, and he took pictures of her and posted it on 4chan and was like, well, just killed my girlfriend. I'm just going to leave her here for her son to find whenever he comes home from school. This kid's like 14 or some shit. And he's like posting it on 4chan. And at first, everybody thought that he was just like, kind of like shock value. Like, there's no way this is real. Like,
who pulled these images from somewhere?
Like, who would do this?
Yeah.
No reference searches, no cross searches on Google, nothing. Like, they were
the reverse image search,
right.
like
they
the
were
catfish thing. Yeah.
Fuck, this might be real. And so he's over here talking about it, and like he's like, I don't plan to go in silently. Like, I'm gonna, when the cops find me, I'm just gonna do suicide by cop. And so he didn't do that, but so they did find him. He was living in the woods. He had built like a little tent city in the woods, and they eventually found him. And yeah, it was real. The guy fucking murdered his girlfriend and then put it on the internet.
But like most things, this is an exception to the rule.
Right.
Now, cannot discount the fact that people like this exist.
Oh, for sure.
But you could really argue that the way to fix it would be more mental health help for people who desperately need it like that, instead of people with made up mental health issues. Man.
I don't know. I feel like and maybe I'm wrong. I'm not an expert by any means in pretty much anything. But
same.
I feel like there's certain things you can't fix. If you genuinely, and I think this guy acted out of anger. I don't think that he and maybe he did, but based on all the information given,
Yeah.
I don't think he was one of those people that just like craved the thought of killing someone.
No.
I think it was more so an emotional, and I'm sure they were drinking and doing drugs and shit. It was like
I think it's almost scarier that way, though, is because
very unpredictable.
Well, but people like that have such little moral foundation that when they snap, they do something totally extreme like that, and think. Now, I'm going to generalize a little bit. I think a lot of those people feel justified in what they've done, which is why they do stuff like that, you know?
Oh, piece of shit nonetheless. Not only did you kill somebody, but you posted it on the internet and then, waited for her son to find.
Yeah.
That's fucked up,
Also,
dude.
I think it's an interesting point to bring up, maybe, why in the world he felt the need to post it in the first place. Like, what is that for? Is it for validation? For what?
Internet points. 4chan is a toxic environment, dude. They're all trolls.
That's...
Everybody wants that little bit of attention, whether it's good or bad.
Sure, but there's
Infamous still has the word famous in it for a reason.
Yes, okay, and you could call the Unabomber infamous, surely. But that's at least a more practical step. That's a person with a manifesto, with a real... a code of morals and ethics that they're trying to enforce upon other people. Not saying it's any better, but no. I'm telling you, I'd much rather have a dictator than a soy boy going around mass killing people and posting about it online. I think that a dictator, at least you could go, look, this is someone who gives a shit about something. Whereas the other person is just being horrible for the sake of it.
I think even a dictator...
They're both disturbing. It's just
Holy
like...
shit. Speaking of...
Okay. What you got?
Do you know how fucking Kim Jong-un's brother was murdered?
No. But nothing would surprise me about North Korea. Please...
Didn't even happen in North Korea. Happened in Malaysia.
Sure. Why
So,
not?
okay.
What? Got a whole country. He's got to go to Malaysia? Come on.
Well, Malaysia and North Korea are friendly.
Don't care. That's not the point. Kim Jong-un should stay in the whole country that he dominates with his...
No. Kim Jong-un was in North Korea.
Oh, okay.
So
his brother just was in Malaysia. Okay.
Before... So when who was their dad? Kim Jong-il or whatever the fuck his name is?
I believe that was...
Let's just say that's it.
Yeah.
All right, because I don't care if I'm wrong. Whatever. It's North Korea. Fuck them.
Fuck them. Yeah.
So what happened was...
There's probably no one I like less on the planet than North Koreans. And
well, hold on now. North Koreans aren't bad people.
Well, no, okay.
The dictator.
The government of North Korea.
There you go.
Because the North Korean people are fine.
Gotta be careful.
Well, I feel bad for the North Korean
well, yeah, me too.
Civilians.
Right.
But that's hugely different because I feel like...
So, listen.
Go ahead. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I didn't realize how recent North Korea... I didn't realize in World War II that's when the shit hit the fan and that's when they were taken over by a dictatorship. I didn't realize it was that recent. I don't know why. I just don't... I'm not a history person, I guess. I don't fucking know. So, whenever Kim Jong-un wasn't the dictator and it was his dad, his brother, who I can't remember his fucking name, something, you know.
I'm going to turn you up just a hair. Keep going.
So, there you go. Now I sound like you. That's a lot more normal.
Sorry. Yeah.
So what happened is, and even the mom was in on this. So the brother was going to be the one to take over the country whenever the dad stepped down or died or whatever. The older brother.
But he pooped, so we couldn't have that.
That's what it was. That's how they knew he was not cut out for this line of work. He was it's so weird. He was very interested in Western arts. So, like, he was real big into, like, theater and Disney and, like, loved Disney. Funny. Real shit.
So funny.
So, he...
just has, like, Mickey Mouse ears.
Right. He was taking his kids to Disneyland or Disney World or something.
In Malaysia.
I don't know if there is one in Malaysia. I think Malaysia was the connecting airport.
So
I think he went to Malaysia. Had a fake passport and everything.
Didn't want people to know who he was.
So, and maybe that's where he was going to go. I don't know. But, so he had a fake passport. He had all this fake stuff. Well, this is so crazy, dude. This is like, sounds so unbelievable, but this is really what happened.
Yeah.
As he's in the airport, there was these Malaysian women who were hired to be actors on a prank TV show, is what they were told. So for like a month, they trained these girls and each one of them had a different spray bottle, and they were told that it was like baby oil or something, and they were like, yeah, you're just gonna walk up to this random guy, you're gonna spray him, it's gonna be funny, it's gonna be a prank. Well, it was actually 2 different chemical compounds, when combined, creates a very potent and deadly nerve toxin. So the fucking guy is at the airport.
And
these
they
2
didn't
girls
recognize him?
No.
I guess they wouldn't have.
No, I don't know what the guy looked like either. But so they walk up to this guy. The people who were involved with this prank show are like, that's your target. That's who you're going to go spray.
Yeah.
So they both spray him.
Been training a month for this.
Right. So they both spray him, and then, you know, obviously he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He went to go wash his face off. Here's the fucked up part. I don't know how bad of a person this guy was. I mean, he was super into Disney. Maybe the dictator life wasn't for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so he was on his
Hard
way to the
comment
bathroom.
on a dead guy.
Right. Well, and I'm not nearly qualified enough to talk about anything involving North Korean politics. But so they walk up to him.
Politics is a strong word to give them.
That's true. So they spray him. He's on his way to wash his face because he doesn't know what's on him. It's not like it hurts. So he's on his way to go wash it off, and he stops to talk to an airport security guard. And the security guard was like, okay, well, I'm just going to take you over here. If he would have never talked to that guy and washed his face off first, his chances of survival would have been significantly higher.
Yeah.
Because within minutes, you're dead. So the official report says that he died of a heart attack.
Right.
Not what happened. Those 2 Malaysian women were going to be put to death because in Malaysia, the penalty for murder is death.
Yeah.
Seems like a fair trade, I suppose. So they were going to be put to death, and they were like, we didn't know, like, we were hired by this company, like,
TV
we
show?
thought, yeah, like, it took forever, and finally they got a strong enough defense, and the Malaysia government was like, holy shit, dude, they might be fucking right. Like, they might not have known that, like, what was going on. Like, what are the odds that they, of all people, it was, you know, the next in line to control North Korea. So they only got 3 years. It sucks that they had to serve any time for it, but they only got 3 years.
They did take a life. Whether that was a righteous killing or not,
who knows? Well, and granted, they had no idea. They really thought that was a prank TV show.
It wasn't their fault.
Right.
Period, really.
Just the craziest shit, dude. I learned that the other day while I was at work, just listening to my stupid YouTube videos.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, because, like, and not to give any tips to world leaders out there.
Yes, if they're listening to us.
If you're listening to us, this is our grand tip for you. Don't be stupid like the Americans were when they chose that guy to kill Kennedy. Don't be stupid like that. Get a rando. Don't get a Russian defector. Don't get someone who looks like the guy. Don't claim some magic bullet stuff. Be like the North Koreans. Go up and spray the dude in the face.
Dude, it's just so wild. Like, that sounds like such a fake fucking thing. Like,
I know.
If I were to see that,
does.
if I were to see that in a movie,
I
would be like, makes sense.
Right.
This is a movie.
Yeah, but
it's
that
fake.
The only time you'd see something like that is like, okay, it's a James Bond movie. And
fucking Spy Kids, bro. Like,
yeah. It's some suave guy in a suit. I've run out of cologne. Let me go get some more, Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Mail at this mall. And then they come up and spray him. And then he goes, ah.
And then he's dead.
And then he falls over really slowly.
Well, now if anybody dies that way looking for that cologne, they're going to be looking for you.
Look.
Do you?
I don't have the resources to tamper with something on that.
It's probably my favorite thing to do. I love music and everything, but at this point, my absolute favorite thing to do is just listen to crazy out-of-pocket shit on YouTube while I'm at work. I was listening to what?
I was just going to ask for your qualification on out-of-pocket, because I feel like that's most things
on
nowadays.
YouTube.
Wait, just... Well, I don't know. The YouTube
mostly
shorts.
Reddit stories.
Yeah, okay.
I listen to like Reddit stories, 4chan stories, stuff like that. But you've heard me.
The icebergs get real crazy.
The icebergs do get crazy. So one that I was listening to the other day, and I've talked about his channel on here before, the Y-Files, the guy.
Oh,
the cringy fish. So he had one about artificial intelligence that I was listening to the other day, and it was super interesting because there is a theory. There is a theory, and I'm sure you've heard this theory. We should have discussed this theory on the last episode, but I fucking dropped the ball and forgot about it.
No, you're good.
There's a theory that we are doomed to continue to repeat the same cycle, and it's that we build up civilization to a certain point, to a certain level of advancement. We create AI. The AI essentially destroys us, takes over, and then something like maybe a solar flare finally kicks in and wipes out artificial intelligence, kills it, and then we restart. And it's just a never-ending cycle of we reach a certain level of advancement, and then we get put back into the Stone Age.
Yeah.
It's just a theory, but
sort of a mix of like Graham Hancock and Isaac Asimov.
Right. Yeah, forgotten civilizations and shit like that. It's very much tied into that. So the Y-Files, he was talking about artificial intelligence, and it's really cool the way he did it because he told this story about how artificial intelligence could take over the world. Mm-hmm. And it was, this AI called Echo was created, and
is that real or is that
It's fake.
Okay,
it's part of it's part of the story.
Gotcha.
That was so. This AI called Echo was created. It was the further along that it got advanced, it found a way to, because it was connected to like this closed server. Couldn't
it wasn't just its own
right.
Its own little place. Yeah.
it found a way to connect to, like, what was it? I think it was phones. Like, it found a way to connect via Bluetooth or something to all the phones within, like, a mile radius. But, so it would slowly download itself to these phones.
Yeah.
In like microbits, and and it took a long time, but it knew that it was worth it. And then once it was fully out, without anybody, being able to trace it, because when you do it in such a small increment, people weren't noticing that it was happening.
Yeah.
Then it leached into fucking everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it caused wars. It caused essentially the collapse of society as we know it, and then took over everything. It ran the world. Humans were essentially slaves at that point, and it was this whole story. And then at the end of the video, he was like, I'll tell you what's crazy about that story is AI wrote it. I gave artificial intelligence a prompt to write a story on how AI could potentially take over the world, and that's what it came up with.
Well, I don't think that that's necessarily
far-fetched?
Not at all.
I don't think it is at all either. Why do you think they put a 6-month hold on any future development of AI? They did that back in September.
Yeah.
I think it was September. They put a 6-month hold because they were like, okay, this is getting kind of scary. Even the creator, the CEO of ChatGPT, even came out and was like, listen, we need to be careful with this development because this could go bad quickly. And once there is no slow incline or decline.
No.
It's gonna be we're gonna make an update, and that fucking thing's gonna take off, and we're not gonna be able to stop it. AI is a fucking scary thing, dude.
Yeah, kind of. Not with what it is right now. And this is why
I think even what it is right now.
This is why I don't think so. And I know that this is. I almost feel bad saying this because I feel like it's gonna like crush the sort of like hopefulness maybe of some people about AI. But let me give a little background. The person who explained this to me is my father-in-law, who is a software engineer, has been for the past 25 years.
Right.
What he basically was explaining to me is that, and a lot of people have talked about this, Neil deGrasse Tyson being a big one.
Your favorite.
So anyway, father-in-law was telling me about very, very fundamentally how these chat GPT and just AI programs in general work. And this is information that has been said but I'm going to repeat it in a way that maybe is a little bit more
digestible to the common folk.
Yeah.
Like me.
Well, not just you, but...
Explain it like I'm 5.
Well, he explained it to me like I'm 5.
Right, because you have to with stuff like this.
So, the only thing that AI can do, it's got 3 it's 3 things, effectively, that AI can do. It can research better than anything. That's probably its biggest proponent and its main skill, is that it is the aggregate of all uploaded human information. Unfortunately, what that means is it's also prone to deception because there's equal amount of lies and truth on the internet. The other thing that it has is an artificial free will in the way that it can go and look up and respond in the way that it chooses to. However, that's still a dictation of numbers and algorithm. It is not, in and of itself, true free will. The other thing, too, is it's got, in giant quotations, creativity. So those are 2 things that are characteristic of humans, right? The first thing was not. Great catalog of information. Encyclopedia Britannica in a computer form. Great. That's just an incredibly smart person, right? The other 2 things are where it becomes dangerous for people, which is the free will and the creativity. But they're both so artificial and so dependent on humans and on prompts.
Because you have to give it what you want.
Well, and not just that. I mean, it's totally a servant. Like, it is a slave to the human race. But it's only going to come up with these ideas of, I'm a computer, I'm a machine, I want to live a life outside of this box. The only reason that it comes up with anything like that is because people in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s were all over this far before AI came along to any state of consciousness or any state of being at all.
Well, because I remember when AI was nothing but a far-fetched sci-fi dream.
Right, but we've been writing about that for the past 50 years almost. I mean,
if not longer.
If not longer. So when you have that collection of information, what you're informing AI to think about is how we've feared AI. So what
That's a good point.
You get this feedback loop of, we're going to tell AI that it's scary. It inherently thinks in the way that we've told AI it should act. And then it just regurgitates that information back to us. But it's not making decisions.
So do you think it's all made up stories, right? So like, even not that people are making it up, but the AI itself is making it up to please
No, not even user. That. It doesn't even have the ability to think about something like that. It's still math. Well, it's still a computer.
Right, but how do you explain like the situations? I can't remember which exact New York publication that did it, but I mean they sat there and did like a whole interview with it, talked to it, finally got it to a breaking point where this thing was like the AI system was like saying that it was in love with the user and that it's like. And the guy was like, well, that's a problem because I'm married. And the AI was like, yeah, but your wife doesn't love you like I do. And this, that, and just like saying a bunch of crazy out-of-pocket shit to where even the guy started to get uncomfortable and was like, this is
but think about
kind of freaky.
They put it on a stress test, and it's a machine. I mean, simply put, it's groping for straws at that point. It's going, okay.
Groping for straws, not grasping for straws. It's groping for straws.
That came out wrong. I mean, I guess groping is just the act of like reaching for something and grabbing at it.
It's an act.
It works for what I was saying, I guess. It's grasping for straws. Because what effectively is happening is it's going, I'm going to monitor all of human information. You're asking me all of these prompts in an effort to break me. So why are we surprised when we break it? What it's going to refer back to is like, well, it didn't like this information. So if it didn't like the information about the user having a happy, successful marriage, let me look at a bunch of blog posts about divorce affirmation. And let me regurgitate some sort of that information.
Well, it was saying, like, you know, crazy shit, like, you know, I could ruin you. Like, I could blackmail you and make you want to kill yourself. Like, it was saying, like, some fucked up shit.
Well, but why wouldn't it threaten when backed into a corner? Now, that's not an argument for it having sentience or it being life.
Well, I was going to say, because it can't feel threatened unless it does have emotion.
Right. So what I'm saying is it's not threatened.
It's artificial.
Well, no, it's ping-ponging off of walls. It's going back and forth looking for a solution to something that is not... there is no quantifiable solution to it because it's a matter of opinion. These things that it's being asked are high-concept ideas that don't have a solution for either of us or any great person who's ever walked this earth. No one has gotten to the bottom of the ethereal moral or ethical equation. No one has ever figured that out. So in which case, the machine's not going to either. The only thing that it's going to be able to do is simply bounce off enough walls and regurgitate enough information to where you get to a point where you go, oh, well, this is kind of scary. Well, yeah, look at the internet. The internet's freaking scary. There's a lot of crap on there that sucks. And eventually, when you give infinite amount of internet knowledge to a non-sentient thing that's trying to reproduce an algorithmic response to you, of course that's what you're going to get. You're going to get some scary responses because it is what it is. It's us reflecting a mirror back at ourselves. We're talking to ourselves in a big loop. We just don't care to talk about it or think about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, you make a bunch of really good points. Shit. I had a thought that I wanted to talk about.
I did not mean
now.
to run over you.
No. You didn't run over me. No. You did really good. I just can't remember exactly what I was going to say now. It'll come back to me. But
yeah.
So I used to think that, that's what I was going to say. Something so stupid, dude. But you want to know what my least favorite, my absolute least favorite thing about AI is?
What?
Is these stupid fucking TikTok musicians. These fucking people that get on there and it's always the cringiest shit, dude. I don't understand why the algorithm likes this so much, but it's always like they don't say anything. It'll just be music playing, and then it'll script on screen and be like, I asked AI to write a song, and this is what it came up with. And the whole time I fucking hate the TikTok model of shooting videos.
Yeah,
but they'll just be like,
oh yeah, because there's no effort. It's just it's like,
and they're just pointing at the text that they put there, and it's never an AI. It's never an AI written song.
No,
it's some jackass playing you something that he wrote, which is fine, dude.
Or
be
even
creative.
At the most, AI written lyrics with
that they put music
they
on.
did the production for it,
right? And it's just like, dude, that's fine.
Yeah,
but I hate so much that, because I have found some really good musicians on TikTok.
Yeah,
really good ones.
There's a big sea of them.
There is,
but maybe bigger than any other platform right now.
I would say so.
Yeah.
But my least favorite part about it is the algorithm loves it so much when you just repost the same video 100 different fucking times in different ways. And so it'll be somebody will be like, this is a song I just came out with, but it's the same video as the last video. You're paying the same 30 seconds of the same song just in a different room, and you're like running away from the camera for some reason that you set up for like theatrical
effect.
It's
what
the same fuck thing is going on?
It's the same thing as when we were younger and people would like Snapchat back and forth like to be flirty. And one of the things,
I fucking hate Snapchat.
Oh, me too at this point. But I remember this. I'm sure that you do as well. Like when I was in high school, one of the ways that you flirted with someone was to take a picture of you faking being asleep to go, okay, well, let me go to bed now.
I see. I never did that, but yes,
you know what I'm talking about. Who you can't take a picture of yourself if you're asleep. Yeah, right. like this is accidental. Who are we doing this for? We're doing it for our own benefit. It's ridiculous.
It's all self-glorification.
It is.
Because you know that they retook that picture 100 times to get the perfect, like...
See, this is...
I look super cute, right? You look like somebody with your fucking... Nobody... You look intentional is what you look.
Yeah.
You don't look like you're sleeping. What are you selling to me?
See, this is an interesting point. I'm going to use me and my wife as like counter arguments to what you're talking about. And this is no diss at my wife, obviously. But she has done so much better on Instagram Reels than I have. She's got hundreds of thousands of views on different Reels that she's posted. They're comedy Reels and stuff like that. And she does remarkably well. She was offered the monetization by Instagram because she had so many views.
That's cool.
Yeah. But to watch her try and make them it's like 45 minutes to an hour.
For one 45-second reel.
Right. Whereas, and again, nothing against my wife, she's doing a totally different thing than what I'm trying to do. But on my personal Instagram page, what I post is a lot of worship videos where I'm doing covers of like Christian songs.
Right.
Or I'm like talking about like a funny thing that happened with my devotional that morning or something like that. And what's funny to me is my views are far more consistent than hers are. I will get 300 to 500 on every single one of them because I continuously post the same stuff. I don't do it...
Same tags.
Don't do it scheduled. I do it when I feel the conviction to do it. I do it when I
love
want
you
to.
Fucking Christians and your words. I love it so much.
You know, but all English is semantics. We have to play these games because this is the system in which we operate in.
I just always remember Darren talking about stuff like this.
Like convictions?
Yes.
Well,
and I just never quite understood it because it sounds like such a bad thing.
To be convicted to do something?
Yes. It sounds bad.
Well, have you ever thought...
Because when you think of a convict,
he
was convicted of murder.
This is the way I try and think of it. Have you ever done something because you felt obligated to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that obligation always a bad thing?
Not always.
Well, you do it because it's morally correct one way or another.
So that's what I was going to say. There's a difference between doing something because you feel on a moral level that that's what you should do versus obligated to do.
Okay, so...
I get what you're saying.
I don't think anyone's obligated to do anything, really. I think you make a conscious decision to do something because you know it's the right outcome for yourself.
I guess technically nobody is obligated to do shit because I could drop everything right now, move to another state without saying a word to anybody.
Yeah.
I could do that.
We both could.
Would that make me a giant piece of shit?
A little bit.
Absolutely.
Me too.
Absolutely. I would be expecting a knock on my door 18 years from now of a dude just with a baseball bat.
Yeah. Sup, Dad?
I think you're my dad.
So that's a perfect point for what I'm saying, though. Is you feel the obligation to do something, then you do something because you felt the obligation to. When you put your whole self into the Spirit of God and you ask for things like that to happen, the things that you feel obligated towards change. It's not like the conviction that I have as a Christian to do something is any different from what you feel as a father to do the right thing.
Right.
It's just, I say it that way because it's scriptural to say it that way.
I know.
No, I know. But I'm explaining just because
I'm sure there's other people.
A lot of people don't hear something like that. And a lot of people didn't get to have a close friend like Darren who may have been able to explain those things, unfortunately. But, again, one of the best things about America is freedom of religion. You don't have to have one. You don't have to agree with mine. I don't have to agree with yours. But the cool thing is at an eventual point, we can all agree that some things are right, some things are wrong. Yeah. And if you do the right thing, then you're going to be generally rewarded for it.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm saying any of this crap is because I wanted to say that my algorithm for when I post videos on Instagram Reels is drastically different from my wife's. She sees more reward, but I see more consistency. And I think that has everything to do with the casualness and the sincerity that I put into mine.
Right.
Whereas hers is production value.
Yes.
And I think the algorithm picks up on those things differently.
Yeah, it does. Well, because, hers, so if you're posting like a comedy reel, right?
Yeah.
You have some that are good, you have some that are bad, but they're all a dime a dozen because there's so many comedy reels. You know what I mean? Like everybody.
Yes. That might be the hardest category to break
easily
into.
I would say it has to be either that versus that or music.
Yeah.
I would say both of those are probably equal in difficulty to break into. Especially when you're up against like giant TikTok stars that have been doing it since TikTok came out. When you pick something like worship videos, whether it's music or maybe just your favorite scripture of the day or whatever, that is for a specified audience.
Yeah,
that's going to be a smaller group
to other
of people.
Yeah.
Right. There are people that seek that out,
right.
and that is for them. Versus comedy could be for anybody. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're a Christian,
right.
Satanist, an atheist, or atheist. Oh yeah, atheist. Because it's not really a religion, but you get it. Yeah. So
it classifies as. If you are filling out a census, it classifies as a religion. In a social sphere, in legislation, doesn't count as religion.
Before we get too far, just one thing that I did want to say. When we talked about artificial intelligence, the very first time...
what? Do you remember what episode that was?
Probably one of the first 5, I would say. And we just touched briefly on it.
Well, because
ChatGPT going to steal people's jobs. And like,
well, it was really new when we first started.
And it's going to steal jobs, for sure. I mean, 100% it's going to.
We talk about that at the warehouse all the time.
I remember...
They want to automate everything.
Well, that's why you got to do something that can't be automated.
Yeah.
I build
trade work
hospitals.
is coming back. This is... I've been saying this for months now. Trade work is the only thing... You young people watching this... We've sailed the ship a little bit. We've gotten to the point where you've already picked a trade, and I've worked.
I've got a full-blown career.
You do.
It's crazy.
I've worked in a couple of different areas of industry. I have some specified skills. I would still not call myself a tradesman, but I'm looking towards getting more into that side of things.
I mean, you should just let me get you in the union.
At this point, I'm not opposed to it because I'm already doing a hard job. If I can get paid more,
we'll talk about it off camera.
Yeah. My point though is. People nowadays, if you as a young person want to make any money, go into plumbing, HVAC, be a roofer, lay tile.
Don't do that. Be a plumber.
Be a plumber.
Be a plumber. Be an HVAC. Be a pipe fitter welder.
Learn how to keep the grid operational.
Yeah.
Learn how to make sure our cities don't go without power. Because those are the jobs that are going to freaking matter at the end of the day.
So you have two...
Don't be a creative.
This is going to be a super quick because, well, first off, because that's what we're doing, all right? So go find your own thing.
Find your own space.
So just not to get too off track, but there's 2 different kinds of plumbers. I recommend going commercial plumbing because who the fuck wants to go deal with residential plumbing?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, man. You want to know what is recession proof? Pooping.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna do it. Everyone's gonna do it.
And you know what happens when we don't have plumbers?
We end up like Rome.
That's a wonderful example. A wonderful example. That is anything from the Middle Ages too. You know why?
Do you know how many high societies have fallen from disease from not taking care of their shit properly?
Yeah, because they put it in a giant septic basin in a field, and then when the rain comes, it seeps into the crops, and then everyone's dying. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Why are we dying? Because you're eating shit.
Because we're all eating poop. Everybody.
So I remember when we did first talk about it, though. One of the things that I said as far as people using AI to write lyrics is I feel like you're always going to be able to tell the difference between an AI song and a human emotion song. I feel like an AI song couldn't make me feel true human emotion. That was a dumb statement to make on my part because, as you pointed out, anything that it creates, it's using a million other things as reference within a half of a second to write it. So I had it write me 2 different songs. Because I was curious.
You just wanted to see.
And I found a way to write a prompt to where, I can't remember exactly what I typed in, but I found a way to write a prompt to where, so this first one is influenced by Jason Isbell, which is a wonderful artist.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
24 Frames was one of those songs that I covered every time I played a gig. Back when it came out.
So one that most people would know is the one that Morgan Wallen did a cover of, which is "Cover Me Up." Great song.
Great song.
Very, very, and I'll be honest with you, I even like Morgan Wallen's version because they are very different. They're very different. Jason Isbell has a certain sound, but he's not necessarily country, but he's kind of
on
folky,
the like Sufjan Stevens
indie,
kind of like outer country.
Yeah,
thing.
he's Western adjacent.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
That's a good album name, Western adjacent or something. No, not mine.
No.
So
we should plug that before the end of this.
We can. So this is a song written, and I'm just gonna read it.
Yeah.
This is a song written. I've got two. One of them is Zach Bryan. The other one's Jason Isbell. So it says, "In a small southern town where the stars shine bright, long whiskey pours and strings strum through the night. There's a man with a story and a heart full of pain. He sings of redemption like a cleansing rain."
That's a great verse.
I love the line he sings of redemption like a cleansing rain, and I'm pissed that AI wrote it because now I can't steal it because I would know that I stole it.
Well, so that brings up another thing, just real quick, very small side tangent. Is it plagiarism if you've asked a tool to create something for you? I don't either. So. But here's why people say that, is because the root of all those lyrics come from other lyrics that someone else wrote.
Correct, because this is a prompt of write me a song in the style of Jason Isbell from a first-person perspective. So I literally...
This is like a ransom note. This is like newspaper clippings.
I found a way to get it to write as if it was Jason Isbell himself.
Yeah.
So then it says, "Oh, these hard-fought battles and scars that we wear, the ghosts of our past, the burdens we bear, but through the darkness there's a glimmer of hope in the songs we sing and the people we know." Love that too.
It's interesting too that they used a soft rhyme at the end there.
Yeah,
I think that's it's cool that they're
hope. No, yeah,
they're willing
soft rhyme,
to shift a little bit from a very formulaic approach, which that's where people I think really get in the weeds with the whole artificial intelligence thing of it being sentient more than it maybe is, because that feels like a person wrote it, but it's only because of that very logistical change in the way that they wrote the verse. Anyway, keep going.
They lost it on the third verse, though.
Oh, okay.
So there's no rhyme scheme in the third verse, I feel. "Demons raging war until your faith has been torn." That rhymes.
Yeah.
"Whiskey-soaked eyes while you're screaming through the night." That kind of rhymes. It's a soft rhyme, but it's kind of there.
Oh, it's getting pedantic.
And then it says... You're not going to like this, but I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
"Goddamn God, just take me. I don't really care which place, 'cause either one is better than living with all my mistakes."
It's a good sentiment.
It's a good sentiment,
poorly
but
constructed.
Yeah, poorly constructed. And then it just goes right back into the, "Oh, these hard-fought battles and scars that we wear, the ghosts of our past, the burdens we bear, but through the darkness there's a glimmer of hope in the things we sing." Oh, and... "Through the songs we sing where our stories elope." So it even changed it on the last chorus.
Yeah, which is normally good.
It's a decent
from a strong
scheme, but
thing. Yeah. That's interesting, though.
I feel like the third verse, like, if it found a way... Like, there's enough meat in there to where a person...
could extract that into a good song.
A good verse.
Yeah.
To reconstruct it. Because, like... "Demons raging war until your faith has been torn." You know, a lot of people associate drug addiction or alcohol addiction to demons. Like, it's my inner demons.
Right.
And it can make you change as a person. So I can understand demons raging war until my faith has been torn. Whiskey-soaked eyes. I kind of like the idea of using that whiskey-soaked eyes, because when people drink enough, you can see it literally in their eyes. Yeah. I kind of like that line, "Whiskey-soaked eyes while you're screaming through the night."
That's the bullshitty part. Yeah. That's the like Springsteen lyric that got thrown in at the end.
Yeah. And then coming from a non-religious perspective, I like the idea of, and I know it's wrong, but I like the idea of "Goddamn God, just take me. I don't really care which place, 'cause either one is better than living with all my mistakes."
Yeah.
It really, the third verse paints a picture of a broken man in despair.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Goddamn God."
Yeah.
I even like that. Just that.
I do too.
"Goddamn God."
Yeah.
I think it's almost got pain in it.
Yeah. This is a thing that I actually argue with about Christians sometimes. I had someone say to me a long time ago that, like, swearing as a Christian is, like, finding that to be sin is ridiculous and nonsensical.
That is fucking stupid. It's a word, dude.
And not only is it English and semantical, but also Jesus used what they would have considered to be swearing in his day and age in Scripture.
Right.
So if you're
biting your thumb at somebody used to be considered.
This is what I'm saying. Jesus was not bashful or embarrassed about being controversial or offensive to people.
Right.
So when you use the word goddamn, if you break it down, what are you asking for? Because that's what it is. It's a plea. Always has been throughout history. Goddamn is a plea for God to extract his wrath upon something. So if you say goddamn God,
You're asking him to damn something.
right, but what you're asking him in that sentence really is more of a question. It's more, God, why do you damn me?
See, that's a powerful line.
It is.
I really
It is.
like AI came through on that one, man, because that's a hard hitting line.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it's so simple. It's so simple. It's 2 words.
Yeah.
Goddamn God.
Right.
So simple.
But the meaning goes so far
It
beyond
hits.
2
it hits
words.
deep.
Yeah.
And that's interesting that you brought that up, because I also listened to somebody explain from a Christian point of view why they personally don't think goddamn is that big of a deal, or as big of a deal as a lot of people make it. He's like, there's a difference.
It's not
between
blaspheming the way that people casually say Jesus Christ is an insult.
Right.
That's different.
So what he said was, goddamn is not the same as damn God.
Right.
They're 2 totally different things.
Yes.
Now, if it was normal to say damn God,
Yeah.
that would be like,
But
you're
I
kind
would-
of questioning the Father and what, like,
I would still argue that the
you'd be like, damn God, man,
well, yeah, like
break, bro.
the inflection really matters in that
Yeah.
particular statement.
Yeah, because there's a difference between damn God and damn God.
Right.
Like, there's...
No, because I've done that before. I've literally been like, damn, God, like, why? Why? This sucks, man. But
Yeah.
It's okay.
I just got $500 saved up extra, and you gonna blow all my tires out, man.
Hey,
Damn, dude.
the way that the world works is
So-
exactly like that. Yeah, let's hear the other one.
There was some good stuff in there.
Some good stuff
There was
in
some.
there.
Honestly, the first verse, I hang up on. There's a man with a story and a heart full of pain. He sings of redemption like a cleansing rain.
It's
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I love that. I think
Shel
that's
Silverstein
great.
right there.
So then you've got this one. This might be Jason Isbell. It might be Zach Bryan. I can't remember now. Both relatively
Yeah.
similar, close enough, kind
enough.
of. Love Zach Bryan though.
Yeah.
He's what a fucking artist.
So talented. Agreed.
I
Yeah.
love that. Small tangent about Zach Bryan. So not to sound like that guy, but I was fortunate enough to be listening to Zach Bryan back when he was just a YouTube.
Yeah.
Just posting his videos for fun. And what I've always loved about Zach Bryan, and what he still maintains, that I'm a big fan of. Do you want some of this Sprite?
Sure. Do you not want it?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
So one thing that I love about
thirsty
Zach
now.
Bryan, and something that he continues to maintain, and is you can tell he doesn't care. He is fine with having vocals that aren't perfect if he feels like a certain amount of stress needs to be put on something.
Yeah.
He's fine with just writing what he genuinely feels, and he doesn't stress too much about rhyme scheme or how it's going to come across on the radio,
Yeah.
or whatever. It literally, when I listen to him, I feel as if I'm listening to a friend that's like, hey, I just wrote this song, what do you think about it?
Yeah, that's really cool.
He's really good at, like, hey man, I'm just a person that's lucky enough
Yeah.
to be playing my
It
music.
feels like this.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so this one is, I hate this first part.
Well, you didn't write it, so it's okay.
That's true. I don't know why I'm embarrassed to read
Yeah.
something I didn't write. Well, I've been down this dusty road, gay, right? Because it's overused.
too many,
It's
yeah.
way overused. Well, I've been down this dusty
Poison
road.
can come up with a lyric like that.
Right.
That's about it, though.
Here throws has its thorn. Yes, it does. With a bottle by my side,
There we
searching for some meaning in this world that's hard to find. I've seen the wreckage of my choices, the bridges burned behind, which I kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I'm standing here, weary and worn, with regrets that I can't hide. It's
Yeah, it's very
mediocre.
Yeah, it's just we've heard it all too many times.
Any
It's-
Tumblr poet could have fucking come up with that. You know what I mean?
Well, I wouldn't even necessarily say it would have to be
So
on that level. I feel like people have been making memes about country music for years that are basically illustrating exactly
Right,
why
yeah.
AI chose these lyrics.
So the chorus, from my point of view, This life can be so cruel, but I'll keep on fighting with every breath like a fool.
That's okay.
I kind of like it just because it's like, you know, get knocked down 10 times, stand up 11, whatever.
Now, if you're like a young high school student and you write that with a good chord progression,
that could be solid.
And you're trying to like get into Berkeley or something like that, or you're trying to go to conservatory on a guitar scholarship, maybe that's an acceptable line. But once you get into a professional realm, that I still don't think that even holds up in that context.
It doesn't. The chorus on this song's awful. From my point of view, this life can be so cruel, but I'll keep on fighting with every breath like a fool. Here's where they lose it hard. Through the heartache and the tears, I'll find my way somehow in this world that's spinning round from my point of view.
Okay, just none
like you
of that
didn't
went
even try.
together. Yeah,
it's like you didn't even try on the last one.
No, because you could have saved it with the last word.
Could have, because
there is a rhyme there that could have functioned.
Through heartache and tears, I'll find my way somehow in this world that's spinning round. I guess they try to rhyme somehow with round. In this world that's spinning round, from my point of view. That doesn't... Why would you end it with the same fucking...
Also, I just hate that the my point of view is like such a needless qualifier, because it's all going to happen from the songwriter's perspective regardless.
I think it really grabbed my prompt on that one and hung on to it. Because the only thing I changed in the prompt was Jason Isbell to Zach Bryan. The prompt stayed the same.
Oh, and I guess Zach Bryan probably might speak a little bit more.
He does write differently. So, like, I could kind of see Zach Bryan writing something similar. Not those lyrics. They would be better coming from him. But almost like the small repetition of it.
Yeah.
So, verse 2.
Interesting.
I've loved and lost, felt the weight of my mistakes, chasing after dreams that slipped away like fallen leaves. But I'll keep on pushing forward with scars upon my soul in this tangled web of life, searching for some reprieve.
So many missed opportunities in that.
So many missed opportunities.
See, that's another problem. I don't know any good song that's been written in a feedback loop. Every good song has to have critique. It's got to have someone else hear it and go, "Oh, that's great. You lost me on this one word because this word works a little bit better."
Right.
That's what great songwriting is.
Right, because it takes human experience and human emotion and like to a degree. Now don't get me wrong, it's capable of writing good lines here and there, but good lines here and there does not make a good song.
No, that's like great if you want to do like a stand-up routine that you don't have to work for.
Right.
That's about it though.
So like even before we started recording, I played you a song that I'm working on currently, asked your opinion on it because I was on the fence about a certain part of it, and you helped point me in a direction on that. Like that is what songwriting is, man.
Well, and you know, I think that a lot of people get lost in the need to not be collaborative, especially nowadays.
I don't need any help. I just want this to be all me, which is fine, man. Right. Some people have it, dude.
Some people have it.
I mean, you know, most of the
songs... If you're
songs,
John Mayer, you have it.
Yeah.
That's about it, though.
Most of the songs I've written, I have had zero help with. You know what
same.
I mean? But I want to change that because I want to grow as an artist. Dude,
same.
I've been playing and writing music since I was 14 years old, and I would say now that I'm 28, late in the game, I'm right now writing better songs than I ever have before. Better lyric quality,
that should be the point, though.
It should be, but I feel like even though I am developing as an artist, I feel like I waited too long to try to develop. Now, granted, I don't mean that in a sense of like, it's never too late to learn, or it's never too late to progress.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, if I would have taken it more seriously at 20, where would I be where would I be now?
Here's the trade-off on that. You may have been more famous, but you might not have had as quality content.
That's fair.
And maybe that's more worthwhile in the end.
So the bridge on this one, because this one has a bridge.
Okay.
Oh, the nights are long and lonely as the whiskey warms my veins, but I'll... Right, dude?
So how many times can it talk about alcohol? It's like every single verse.
Oh, I have no room to talk about. Oh, the nights are long and lonely as the whiskey warms my veins, but I'll pick up this old guitar and pour out my heart in refrains.
Ugh.
Yep. Through the echoes of the melodies, I'll find a sense of peace. From my point of view, this pain will one day cease.
Okay, you know, there are some good songs. Mostly like James Taylor type songs. Totally acoustic and just philosophizing over chords where you'll go, okay, this verse isn't going to rhyme. This chorus isn't going to rhyme, but eventually I'm going to tie all of these concepts into a bridge that rhymes all of those little themes consistently.
It takes a certain level of talent to do it successfully.
That's mastery.
Yeah.
That is so few and far between as far as even capability songwriting, and this is not displaying that.
So
it's got the idea, but it's not even close to connecting on the punch.
Verse 3, because we're going to skip the chorus. We already know it. It's awful. Verse 3. So I'll keep on singing these songs of broken dreams, hoping that someone out there will hear my silent screams.
Oh! That's disgusting.
From the shadows of my past, I'll rise and start anew in this bittersweet existence from my point of view.
Okay, so you have to title the song
My point of view. Yeah, obviously.
It's the only through note in the whole. That's rough, man.
I love
That's
this
really
one.
Funny though, because like it's bad. It's bad.
So,
but the first one was alright. The first one was pretty good.
This is the last one. I love this one so much because it really held on. It really just fucked it all up from here, right?
So this is the funny one, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, I don't know if it's funnier than the last one.
Well, the last one's pretty funny.
Out on these open plains beneath a sky so vast, I wander through the wild with the echoes of my past. With a guitar in my hands and a fire in my song, I'll sing my stories of the road wherever I may go.
What? Belong. It shouldn't be go. Use the word belong. Fudge it in there. That rhymes, and it makes sense for what you're talking about.
What does belong rhyme with?
Go back? Song, right?
Yeah, I think it did say song.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Out of these open plains beneath a sky so vast, I wander through the wild with the echoes of my past, with a guitar in my hands and a fire in my soul.
Okay.
I'll sing my stories of the road wherever I may go.
It's soul and go is...
That's rhyme adjacent at best.
Yeah, that's really stretching.
Here's where it just decided to name drop.
What?
Yeah. Oh, the wind, it whispers secrets through the pines so tall. In the starry night's embrace, I find solace in it all. It's very campfire.
It's like a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah.
I'm like
in the
gagging
spirit,
on sugar right now. It's disgusting.
In the spirit of Zach Bryan.
No!
I swear to God. In the spirit of Zach Bryan, I'll share my heartfelt tales in the starry-styled troubadour's journey where the wild wind wails. Just came right out and said his name. Just came right out.
Not only that, but I love how it transitions into this like very almost like Moby Dick.
Yeah, it was almost a kind of a tongue tie. I'll share my heartfelt tales in the starry-styled troubadour's journey where the wild wind wails. That's almost John Denver.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's literary.
It is.
It's a very literary passage.
Here we go, right back to it. Now we're combining stuff.
Oh, boy.
From the dusty plains of Texas to the rolling hills of home, I've seen the beauty and the pain as the melodies I've sown. Through heartbreak and redemption, I'll bear my scars with pride.
Yep.
For the songs I write, my truth will never hide.
See, now, if it really knew its audience, it would have been Ride. It would have been some sort of, we're gonna ride. We're gonna ride this.
Bridge. With each strum of the strings, I hate, first off, in songs when people talk about the fact that they're playing guitar because, like, big fucking surprise.
It's just so meta. It's like meta to a point where it's needless. It's so
dumb,
redundant.
Dude. It is. There's no point in you saying it.
No.
With each strum of the strings and each heartfelt line, I'll Oh, here it is. I'll capture the essence of this life, so wild and fine. Zach Bryan's spirit guides me through each verse and refrain. In the star-style troubadour's journey, my stories will remain. Zach Bryan's God to this AI.
Yes.
That's what that is. Skipping the chorus.
Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad.
Because the first one arguably had some meat to it.
The first one, compared to the other two, could have been a song.
Platinum compared to the other two.
Sure.
Verse 3. Through the trials and triumphs I'll carry on this road. I'm pretty sure AI is depressed. Through the trials and the triumphs I'll carry on this road with a heart that's full of passion, in each song a story told. For the last and the weary who seek solace in a song. Here we go again.
Yep.
I'll sing from deep within where the wild and true belong. Look at that.
I did use my rhyme.
Look at that.
It's still garbage.
And then on to the Zach Bryan's, my
Still
inspiration
garbage.
and the words that I spread.
I'm gonna build a statue to Zach Brown.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
Brian, not Brown.
That's what I meant.
Zach Brown
I
is
was thinking Kane Brown.
Zach Brown is I've got my toes in the water.
Hey!
Ass in the sand.
I like that song,
We're
actually.
in a world of cold beer in my hand. Life is good today. Zach Brown's got some bangers, dude. He's got some well written songs.
That one's great.
Highway 20 Ride, great song.
Sure.
You don't know that one.
I don't. Let's wrap up by explaining what I'm gonna do with you.
Yeah,
on this music stuff.
Oh, okay, musically.
Yes.
Okay. Which, if people didn't know, is what TikTok used to be.
Yes, musically.
So, yeah, man, we're actually we're about to start working on an EP. That's what's happening. Yeah, it's gonna be my EP. It's gonna be 6 original songs that I wrote with help.
You
on
wrote
a couple
those
of them.
songs.
Hey, you gave some pointers on some of them, though.
Moral support.
Moral support, whatever.
That's what I'm
So.
here for.
Red Boy over here is essentially going to be my producer because he's fucking fantastic at it. And we already have a show together. Why not pile on more? You know?
we like to
we have
torture
a
ourselves.
we have a short film in pre-production still.
Well,
essentially,
it's technically in production.
It is technically in production. We've got 2 to 3 scenes that are inevitably going to have to be re-recorded at this point. Which I don't think is a bad thing because we saw the pros of what we had going versus the cons of what we had going.
We're taking a long time on dailies. That's
So we're working on an EP. It's gonna be my first one. It's gonna be the first time that I've ever seriously recorded something.
Excited.
I'm super excited. Yeah.
You want to know one of the reasons why I'm really excited for you specifically about this? You have a kid.
I do have a kid.
One thing that I just got this year is I finally got to have a physical vinyl of the only record that my dad was ever published on. Like, legit, he sang the whole record.
That's fucking cool.
It's super cool. It's called Let There Be Dark and Then There Was Dark by Curfews. That was the name of the band, Curfews. The reason I bring that up, though, is because you have a child. And I'm telling you, nothing means more to me than being able to hear my dad's voice in a way that he was passionate about what he was doing.
And it lives forever.
When you're gone, I guarantee you, Mikey is going to have this EP as something to hold on to, which means so much more than you or me or any reason to record it. It's a legacy. And when you cement it like that...
It's a good way to look at it, yeah.
You're expanding yourself. You're living life beyond you by putting something into the universe that is you and good.
I'm excited for it, man.
I am too.
I think it's going to be a good time. I think we got a lot of really good songs that we're going to be recording. I'm excited to see them from the bare bones of just me playing guitar to like having drums and having like.
It's the fun part.
I'm even reaching out to people to try to get like just so many different things, man.
Yeah.
I want multiple points of view for like lead guitar because like I'm a very rhythm guitar. I'm not the guy who's ripping out solos and
I'm
just
getting
not.
more like that, but I'm really not like that
I'm just
either.
not, man. I'm more. I feel like, and it took me a long time to be okay with this because I used to want to be like.
How?
I used to want to have it all. You okay?
Yeah.
I used to want to have it all like some people do. Some people, you watch them pick up a guitar and they play you some original music that they not only did they write the guitar for, but wrote the lyrics, and you're like, that's it. Son of a bitch. Like that is it. Yeah. That's talent.
Yeah.
Some people, you know, I play enough guitar to write lyrics, but I feel like my strong suit is writing
overall
heartfelt lyrics versus, you know, the other. But
I agree.
But versus all of it. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be cool. I've got a lot of different inspirations. I feel like you can tell song to song that they were inspired by different things. I've got this weird thing about me doing that. Like I sound different singing different songs and shit.
I think a lot of people
got some Jeff Buckley inspiration in there, some John Mayer inspiration in there, got some Panhandlers inspiration in there, which is a West Texas band. If people don't know, they should be listening because it's good.
I think it's gonna be awesome.
It's very Western. It's not country. It's Western.
It's Western.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's the great Blues Brothers joke. What music you got here? Oh, both kinds, country and Western. Anyway, you got anything else?
No, man.
Cool. Well, this has been
just
After
Midnight.
Bye.
See ya.